In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the navigation capabilities of Kumu. This is an aspect of the environment that is absolutely fabulous. It provides one with the ability to wander around in a very complex environment, which might be perceived as extremely complicated and overwhelming, though to sort of look at it piece by piece by piece in a way that it ends up not being overwhelming. So if I, this is a very small map, and I'll get to a larger one in a moment where it'll make more sense. But if I go ahead and select this, I have an option down here called focus. So I can say that I want to focus on just the selected item, or I can say that I want a direct focus, which means those things directly connected to it, or those things which are 2 degrees away. And I can't go 3 degrees away because there aren't 3 degrees away in this particular diagram. And then I can also go ahead and clear the focus. I can do this using this focus option down here at the bottom, or I can do it simply by point and click. So if I point to Tom and click and hold it, everything else goes away. And all I have is just Tom and the direct connections. If I click and hold any place on the canvas, it will bring the entire map back. So if I click and hold Tom, I now have just the direct connections. But if I click and hold on Jerry, it goes ahead and adds the direct connections to Jerry. And if I click and hold on Cheese, it adds the direct connections to Cheese. To clear this, I go ahead and hold in the background, and now I've removed the focus that I had built up. If I go ahead and select Tom, if I hold the Shift key and select and hold Jerry, it changes the focus from Tom to Jerry, and I can hold the Shift key and change the focus to Cheese. So this is a relatively small diagram, and this capability becomes much more meaningful when you look at a map that's much more elaborate, so that this is just too much to take in all at once. So that if I click here on economic performance, I can now go ahead and say, okay, this contributes to economic performance, and I can read about this, or economic performance contributes to the visitor economy. There are no comments that go with that, but economic performance contributes to the brain drain loop, and I can look at this. I can also say, all right, I want to go ahead and expand out this by clicking and holding on it so that I can then read these particular pieces. I can say that I want to make this the point of focus by holding down the Shift key and clicking and holding on it, so that you can sort of walk your way through the map by clicking and holding on things to sort of expand it in a piecewise manner as you're wandering through it. This particular map, which there's a link to this in the external resources for this lecture, each one of these bubbles, and we'll get to this in a later section in terms of how to actually go about doing this. This R18 forced urgency loop, this is actually a abstracted definition of something that has actually more detail, so that if I click here, all right, now it shows me that set of relations that made up that particular element on the larger map. So that if I look at this, all right, this is the R18 forced time frames. Okay, so, and you can then use the back arrow to go back at any time you want. You can always back up or go forward using the browser arrow keys, which are also the Alt and the arrow keys. So in terms of simply being able to where am I? Let me back up some more to get back to the overall map. To be able to walk through a very complex map in a piecewise fashion so that you don't end up being overwhelmed by it is a real is an aspect of Kumu that I consider to be really powerful and beneficial, because I mean, just trying to take in this entire set of relationships at once is just overwhelming. So allowing me to focus in on a particular component of it and not have to look at it all at once, and then be able to see what's connected to that piece by piece, I think is really powerful and beneficial. So go to this particular project, which I said there's a link for it in the external resources for this lecture, and wander around in it and just begin to get comfortable with how to navigate the environment. It's a very powerful aspect of Kumu. See you in the next video. Bye.